Namaskar. Welcome to Embrace Zindegi. I'm Sushmita Roy. Today we are here from SARS Foundation, a foundation which has been working extensively on respiratory allied sciences and healthcare skilling sector. So Dr. P.P. Bose, the founder president of SARS Foundation, is with me. He has been well known for his articles, even for his poetry on breath techniques. So he has been doing blogs across the world. His breath techniques are so well accepted. Dr. Bose, we are talking about SARS today on International Yoga Day. We are so thankful to Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji for putting yoga in the world map today. And aren't we happy to be here, most elated with the breath techniques for keeping us well, for keeping us tranquil in our mind and healthy. So, Dr. Bose, this SARS Foundation, the breath of life is all about. What is it?
Namaskar, dosto. Today is a very auspicious day. As been mentioned by Sushmita Roy, that this is the World Yoga Day, and this is very relevant to our foundation because we believe breath is the life, and our philosophy is breath of life and breathe better and live longer. So I'll be just talking about why it is so relevant in Yoga Day to talk about the breath meditation. Let me tell you, friends, there are two things that are very important for a life full lived. One is
Yes.
your awareness about your breath, and second is your movement. These two constant things, if you take care of yourself, then you can, reverse what you call adding life to years instead of going years to life. And let me tell you one thing, people have been talking about asanas and postures, and what I'll talk about is the pranayam, the nectar of life, the breath of life,
Yeah.
and why this pranayam is so important, what exactly is pranayam, and what we call the breath meditation. So we will talk about it, and
So, what is this technique, the essence you are holding in your hand, that the technique of pranayam, you are saying that the movement as well as the breath, the essence of it. So, tell us a
it's
little
very
more.
simple. It's very simple. So if you really have to understand what exactly the power of breath, the primordial energy, the soul of life, if I call it, the electrical energy, and whatever you call it, what is this energy which makes you very skillful, which makes you very juvenated and makes you that intuitive power? Before I talk about it, let me give you some anecdotal experiences. Gautam Buddha, if you read about his life, he was restless, he was not able to get those solutions, and he was asked to do certain breathing techniques, and in no time he received that kind of call and he became Bodhista, or what he called, he became Bodhi. So breath is one thing which helped him to reach that kind of his subconscious mind, that kind of moksha salvation. I also want to tell you about a very important person which is very relevant to our today's discussion, is one of our legendary scientists, Einstein.
Einstein, yes. You have
So
talked about Einstein-fying our
yeah, that's
life.
why I
How
keep
is
talking about
that?
Einstein, Einstify your breath. That
Yes,
means what I call
Einstein.
Einstify your breath. So probably you will sounding, how could Einstein and relevant to the breath? Let me tell you, all those great people, those who are achievers, those who have thought out of the block, who has given something meaning to the life. One of the greatest scientists probably is the Einstein. When Einstein died in the year 1955, his brain was preserved thanks to our functional magnetic resonance imaging techniques, and they could map the brain, and they found there are three important things they have found in the brain. So first of all, as you all know, we have got two hemispheres of the brain.
Yeah, yeah.
The right and left is
Left.
called cerebral hemispheres. Left is basically a logical brain which gives you the logic, that gives you the practicality of the brain. The right is more of creative, intuitive, compassionate brain. What they found, the connect between the right and left hemisphere, what you call the corpus callosum, was very well developed in
Einstein.
Einstein through his
Okay.
imaging. Number two,
Okay.
they found the front of the brain, the what you call the frontal
The
lobe.
frontal lobe.
There's an area in the frontal lobe which is
Yeah.
called the prefrontal cortex, which
Yeah.
is an integration of neuronal circuits
Yeah.
in the body.
Mm.
They found it's highly evolved, and prefrontal cortex talks about your attitude, talks about your zeal, your intuition, talks about an outer box thinning the personality. And the third thing you found is that the limbic system, the hippocampus, and insula. These are
Yeah.
anatomical portion of the brain which is connected to your temporal and parietal junctions. The temporal area, they talk about your compassion, the harmony. So what they found in Einstein, these three areas of the brain were very harmonious, they're very well connected. This is what we call an autonomic. So Einstein's probably did his breath techniques very effectively, because the breath is the only way you can go to the deep pockets of your brain. You can deep down your deeper consciousness, and there you get the ideas, the zeal, the energy, the intuition, the creativity. And probably breath is not only meditative, it's creative, it is
Okay.
intuitive.
Yeah.
And probably he's the one who used perhaps his breathing techniques to go into that level of creativity and intuition. And let me tell you, what exactly, as Shushmita was asking, that what exactly is this breath meditation? There's nothing great about the breath meditation. It is all about,
Being in control.
being in control. Because, breath is an automatic
Yes,
mode. We
yes,
all take it for
yes.
granted. When we are talking, when we are
Yeah.
laughing, when we are interacting, when we are enjoying life,
We are not aware of our
our
breath.
breath, because it's an
Yeah.
automatic control.
Yeah.
It's something in autopilot.
Yes,
But
exactly.
the beauty of the breath is that when I'm breathing, when I'm talking to you, I'm breathing. But the next time when I go to the next sentence, this breathing becomes a pause. It is so momentous. It is something like a dew on a leaf. It's so momentous. And moment the drop of sunshine comes, that the dew disappears, the breath is very momentous, and you have to learn to be in that moment. And if you learn to be in the moment, you create that holistic harmony. You connect your mind and the respiratory system, what I call mind and body. You create the right kind of yoga, the unison, the soul, the energy, and that makes you youthful, that makes you creative,
So
that
you're
makes you
saying
beautiful.
breath is like a drop on a lotus leaf,
It's
like a
absolutely,
pearl.
it's a
Hold that
pearl.
moment, right?
It is the moment which is
Yeah.
holding the breath.
The
It
past is the memory and future is
Yeah.
uncertain, but that breath, that very
breath
moment,
is the moment, and that's
is
why
the gift. It's a
it's
present.
a gift. It's a gift of
Yes.
the higher soul, gift of the God. And I always say, when you go back to the past, it's all about your
Memories.
depression.
Yes.
You think you're
Yeah,
cluttered.
yeah.
When you go in the future, you're anxious because you're no.
Uncertain.
But when you stay in the moment, you're
Right.
cool, composed, and collected.
Right,
And that is the whole
absolutely.
concept of breath. Is that be cool, be composed, be collected, and try to connect all the areas of the mind in a harmonious way, so that you're just there. You're
My
just
God,
there.
what a beautiful thought. Just be in the present. Doc, you are also a specialist, a fellow specialist on Butaka technology. It's one of those rare, I guess, recognition that you have got. So, what is it all about? How do we become aware of this?
Friends, Butako was a Russian, doctor and a great person, and he thought probably the most of the solution in our life we can give by breathing techniques.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've been practicing and I've been reading those great yogis and all, and I've seen how this is possible, that these great people, they're achievers. Like, for example, I give you certain anecdotal experience, and people have walked up to Mount Everest with the shorts,
Yeah.
and the yogis are bare chested,
Bare-chested.
and they're sitting on the
Yeah.
top of the mountain. So
Yeah.
on, people are running in Arctic areas without
Yeah.
any wearing anything. So these are all probably those adversity questions, ability to hold in that moment, going beyond yourself,
Breath.
beyond going your those what you call the sensual pleasures, and that is only possible through breath meditation. And let me tell you one thing: how is it possible? Because before I talk about my breathing techniques and the power breaths and how people have been working, let me give you an understanding of the human mind. I know it's a World Yoga Day; people are talking about certain fixed practices, but I'll give you a philosophy to make you understand, make you introspect and intuit how this is so unique. Let me put it this way, the most important organ in our brain is the master brain. This is the brain area. But we don't breathe from the brain. We breathe from the neck brain, what you call the brainstem, which has got three components, the midbrain, pons, and medulla. There are three dancing balls there, what we call the nuclei. It is something like a passing a person. They send those electrical currents.
You talked about an orchestra.
It's like an
Something
orchestra.
like an
It's so
orchestra.
those information are sent to your respiratory system.
Yeah.
And breath has got two components. in and out.
So it's a symphony.
It's in and out. It's an in and out, in and out. But if you segregate in and out, then you're distracted.
Then you are, yes.
In and out is one full circle. Then that is the whole concept of
Then the
breath
current
meditation.
snaps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's you have to feel that in and out is in continuity, and that is only possible when you feel your mind.
Yeah.
Mind is something like a tip of an iceberg. There is 70,000 thoughts which are coming daily, all irrational thoughts. You have to think as your conscious mind doesn't belong to you.
That means it needs practice.
Yeah, it needs a
over some
neuroplasticity,
time,
new techniques.
the
You
technique.
have to really ignore your conscious mind.
Yeah,
Conscious mind is a 70,000 thoughts, as I told you, in a day, which includes negative and positive. I'm not talking about it. So when you talk about breath meditations, you have to dip down something like in the deep
delve
of an
into it.
iceberg,
Yeah.
which is cool, composed, and slow and rational,
Serene.
and at the same time, it is very creative.
Yeah.
So if you really dip down from your conscious mind into a subconscious area, you stimulate, you create a synergy in your mind between your, as I mentioned, what Einstein did, the frontal cortex, the hippocampus,
Right.
and your two hemispheres, what you call, you do an autonomic balancing. Now, we have got two things, as you know. The high areas of the brain, what you call sympathetic, and the low areas of the brain called parasympathetic. It's called Surya Nari and Chandra Nari. When you're high, you feel elated, you feel restless, you feel excited, you feel, all positive things. But
Yeah.
negative is cool, composed,
Composed.
little down. When you balance both the hemispheres with this, what we call a holistic harmony, the nuclei also dance in symphony. When they dance in symphony in the neck area of the brain, the respiratory system becomes like a London symphony or a Russian symphony, in and out, in and out.
So,
It's
doctor,
like a little
isn't
music.
that symphony created within us makes us happier, makes us youthful, as you said, and you also talked about slowing down your breathing technique and live like a tortoise. What is this about?
You look, when you go down, as he told you, when you melt your tip of an iceberg, go deep down and feel that subconscious brain, try to integrate those neural wires and release those good hormones, what I call the good genes, then you go into a what you call an eco speed. Now, what is eco speed?
So-
It's you optimize your energy in such a way that you get the maximum output at the same time you're maximally relaxed.
So you mean to say like Lord Buddha or yogis, they slow down their
You know,
breath?
they slow
to be
down,
in harmony
slow
with
down their breath. Slow is the energy. Now, what happens? As I told you, breathing in and out is like breathing in is inspiration, which is an active effort. Actually, you have to put an effort because when you
Right.
breathe in, zero atmospheric
Yeah,
pressure. So
yeah.
you have to create a negative pressure to breathe in. So
Okay.
it is something like. But when you breathe out, it is the elastic recoil of the
It
lung.
is.
So if your exhalation is better, then all your inhalation will be better.
Okay.
You cannot say, my inhalation is good, my exhalation
Yeah,
will be good.
yeah,
No. When
yeah.
you squeeze a ball, then only there will be a jump in the ball, and what I call the slinky effect. You must have seen the slinky or the spring ball in
spring
our
ball
young days.
jumps.
When you squeeze it,
Yeah.
it comes
jumps.
back, it comes back with those energy and
Energy.
bountiness. So breath
Yeah.
is something like a slinky,
Yeah.
in and out, but at
Yeah.
the same time in control.
Okay.
It is in symphony. It is in a holistic, a 360 degree. It takes care of all the emotions in the body. So when you're talking about the power breath is something is basically to go down and deep and slow, enhance your, subconscious mind, distracting all those negative thoughts, using your nuclei to feel very positive, slowing down your breaths, and as slow as possible. I tell you,
So-
you must have seen the tortoise that live for 300-400
Yeah,
years. One of the reasons because they breathe
Because
only
they're
3 times.
slow.
On the contrary, the hare lives for 2 years.
But doctor, is it possible to work normally with slow breath, as you are saying? Or is it at a certain time you practice and then you get on with your lives in a fast-paced world?
Absolutely, this is a very relevant, and this is the problem, and that's why our breath meditation or pranayam is so relevant in this modern world. Now, what happens? There are 2 types of breathers.
Yeah.
The better breathers and the bad breathers.
Right.
Now, who are the better breathers? Who are breathing very slow. Now, I'll give
Yeah,
you an example.
absolutely.
Now, for an healthy, why we need breath? Why it is called the
To
prana?
survive, that is...
Survive. What is
yeah.
the survive? Because it gives you oxygenation.
Yes, right.
And the atmosphere has 21% oxygen. Rest other
Yeah.
gases we don't require. it.
Yes.
When you push one optimum oxygen molecule, what you call, deep down respiratory system, what you call
Yes.
alveolar system, what you call
Right.
alveoli.
Right.
So what happens? that
it gets fills up.
it fills up your, it goes into your
Yeah.
blood circulation,
Blood
finally gets
circulation.
distributed to all the organs in the body.
Right.
And this is basically the nectar of life that
The
gives you
nectar.
that
Yeah.
energy, and that
Yeah.
is how the
Yeah.
the cells produce the food, what you call oxidative phosphorylation.
Yeah.
Now imagine
Yeah.
a situation. Suppose I take small breaths.
Huh.
Suppose normally a good breather is supposed to take 500 ml of tidal volume. Tidal
Yeah.
volume means
Yeah.
every breath you're taking. Suppose I
Right.
take 500 ml.
Right.
But normally for optimum oxidative phosphorylation and tissue harmony, you need about 5 liters. So how many
Okay.
breaths you require? 10.
Okay, 10.
5 into 10. But
Right.
imagine I'm hyperactive,
Hyperactive,
anxious,
yes.
restless, what is called
That
flight and
happens
flight
with
person.
us so often.
When you're
Yeah.
anxious,
Yeah.
corona time,
Right.
6 out of 10 patients which are saying they're hyperactive, what you call
Right.
hyperventilation.
Right.
When you hyperventilate, you take small breaths. So
Okay.
imagine a situation.
Okay.
From 500, you are taking say 250, so your number of breaths will increase
Okay,
20.
okay.
Suppose you are taking 125, it becomes 40. So slow,
Okay,
smaller the
that's
volume
what
you
you're
take,
saying.
more the number of breaths, more the fatigue,
Energy.
more the waste,
Yeah.
more the aging, more is the
Okay.
weakness, and that's why you get
Alright.
fatigue. So people who breathe better, they are younger because they
Alright.
conserve energy. It is
Okay.
called law of conservation of energy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it justifies, doesn't it, that you breathe slower and you get into your yogic position, whether you are working, even at your workplace, you can practice this. Instead of getting hypervented and breathing faster, we can calm our nerves and we can train to do that, right?
Absolutely. This is the most important thing. The session which we are conducting in World Yoga Day, it's a neuroplastic behavior.
Yes.
As she was saying that, how could you do it? You're a professional, probably you have to do, there are a lot
many
of
work, so
activities. We are
many
in intensive
decisions
care
you
with the
have to- yes.
patients. We are in the communities. We are,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are so much of distraction. It is something like you are meditating in a market area.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's
You shut yourself.
you
to
shut
the
yourself.
surrounding-
Those conscious
yeah.
activities of the brain, which is
Yes.
it should not bother you.
Right.
Treat them as your neighbor. It doesn't bother you.
Right,
So that is
right.
only possible.
Right.
When you practice it. It's called neuroplastic behavior,
Okay.
and that's why I say initially it's an effort. But if you keep on doing it, keep on doing it, it becomes effortless.
And also it makes you the master of the situation, isn't it? You
Absolutely.
are in complete control, not only for yourself, but of your surrounding and your situation. You are not reacting.
Absolutely. So if you find it's an automatic behavior, you will find all the great surgeons, they have a very slow breathing rate.
Yes.
All the great doctors, they have a
Yeah.
slow breathing rate. They have a good listening power. They have good communication. The most
Right.
important thing, there are good benefits, which
Yes.
is very relevant as far as the World Yoga Day. When you're breathing slow, when you're breathing deep, when you're breathing composed, when you're very integrated, the most important benefit you get, you become compassionate.
So I think
You develop an empathy.
empathy.
You start importantly enjoy the humanity.
Yes.
And the most important thing I tell you, we are all lonely.
Yeah,
Every 1 in
yeah,
10 people in the
yeah,
world is
yeah.
lonely because the society is getting geriatric. People say that to come out of loneliness, you need social circle. But social
yeah.
circles can give you 10% of take care of loneliness. But
Yeah.
if you practice breath meditation, if you follow these Enam techniques as one,
Yeah.
it's like a social wellness for you. It's 24/7 for.
Absolutely.
So breath meditation takes care of your loneliness, it takes care of your anxiety, depression, makes you much more holistic, much more intuitive, much more compassionate and
And
empathetic.
also it opens your third eye, doesn't it? The knowledge, compassion, empathy that you're talking about. And essentially you can also do conflict management, because whenever you are hyperventing and reacting to situations, then things may go wrong. But if you are in control of yourself, you'll also be in control of situation, right?
Absolutely. So all the great people, those who achieve, those who have think rationally, brought a change, they are better breathers. So you have to learn to breathe like a tortoise and live like a snail. And I'll tell you, what are the things you should be doing it. So first thing you have to understand, this moment is the most important, the first message.
Hold the moment, right?
So there are certain roadblocks you have to remove.
Okay, all right. Remove roadblocks.
So
That
what are the
means-
roadblocks? I'll tell you, these are different pointers which you follow on a daily basis. Just you have to spend 5-10 minutes in the morning, and if you remove the roadblocks,
Right,
you will be a
right.
saint. You will start breathing like a tortoise and live like a saint, and it's very doable. It's the first thing is that. The first thing which I told about is that the mindful to mindfulness.
Right.
Now,
It's
mind
a
is
wonderful
always full.
phrase. Wonderful.
So you have to be mindful.
Yeah.
From FULL to FUL. So how can
Right.
you move from mindfulness to mindful?
Yeah.
Very simple. The first thing is that you have to follow the 3 Ds of life.
Okay.
First of all, get up in the morning, do
Yeah.
essentials.
Do
What are the
essentials.
essentials?
Yeah.
Go back to your profession,
Yeah.
do your rituals,
Right.
and do what is required.
Okay.
It's not you get up in the morning, start checking other things,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
settling
yeah.
your bills or WhatsApp. No, do
no.
essentials.
Essentials.
So that means that is how
and
you
that is
delete your
basic
brain.
hygiene as well, isn't it, for
So
yourself?
first thing is do essentials.
Yeah.
Second is that delegate responsibilities. What is not required, you do to it.
Yeah.
Do it. Give it to others because you should not torture. Because
Doc,
conscious
we are always
mind
cluttered. With
always cluttered because the
responsibilities.
conscious mind is really bothersome.
Right.
Delegate response. Third is that defer. If the thing is
Defer.
not required in that hour in the morning,
Okay.
you can defer it. You can do it in the weekends.
Okay. Maybe space it out in
Space
your
it
life.
out. And the
yes.
last thing is that learn to delete.
Delete. Oh
The
my
4
God.
Ds are very important.
Yeah.
The do
Very
essentials,
do essentials.
delegate responsibilities, defer and delete.
Defer and delete.
And this is actually
wonderful.
what you call cognitive
Wonderful.
behavioral therapy. You should be doing a little auto-cognitive process
Okay.
so that your thought, behavior and actions in tandem, your actions are very purposeful, very cool and composed, very rational. So I think everybody should, first roadblock you have to do is that
So-
if you want to stay in that moment, to follow the in and out as a flow, as well as 360 degree, be in that moment, follow the 4 Ds,
So-
do a cognitive and be mindful.
So, Doctor, you're saying on today, International World Yoga Day, you are very clearly giving out a message that follow the 3 Ds of your
4
Ds.
Ds, 4 Ds.
Ds. That is,
The
first
do
of all,
essentials.
do essentials.
Secondly is
Secondly,
delegate
defer.
responsibilities.
Okay. Delegate
Third is defer.
responsibilities.
And fourth is delete.
Delete.
So delete
with
is very
that-
important. So as we, in your small planet which you handle throughout the day, the delete is the most important, makes your gadget very happy and healthy. The second thing is that. So once you, as I told you, it starts from higher, then the brainstem, the lung. So once you delete things, when you're cool, composed, already you're into the deeper pockets.
Right.
You already get an Einstein effect. You start
And
becoming
you're
more
always
creative.
then-
Already you have Einsteinified yourself. Then you go to the next level, the passage cleaning. Because what happened? We are in a polluted country. There's so many suspended particles, the particulate pollution. Learn to clear your sinuses. Because that is a passage you have to control the flow.
Okay.
Very
so-
simple techniques. Do saline and
Saline.
jalneti, which
Jalneti,
jalneti,
yeah.
do yogic
Yeah.
practices of jalneti.
Yeah.
Use nasal wash. There are beautiful bottles
Yeah.
are available.
Yeah.
Simple saline nasal wash. Make it a happy. Clean this passage.
And
this
do you
second.
know it keeps your even mouth cleaner and
Cleaner.
your breath cleaner?
You
if
feel
do
fresh, you
jalneti.
feel rejuvenated, you
Yeah.
feel much fresher, like
Much
an
more
oven
fresh.
fresh. Third,
And your digestive system gets cleared
Third
out
thing
with
is
this.
that the resistance, the biggest resistance is at the level of the neck.
Okay.
And that's why you see the sleep apnea, the choking in the
Yeah,
night,
yes.
the neck fat though. There are a lot of breathing techniques which I tell you, very
Okay.
simple technique which I can demonstrate with you. People, our Vedic people, great Patanjali and all those things, they are talking about, different Udit,
Yeah.
Pranayam and all. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you a very simple thing. Create a resistance here. So there is
Okay.
a simple mask which is available.
Okay.
Put a mask. Put a mask on here. We have a face mask here, what you call the nasal mask. We'll show you here. So imagine this is a nasal mask.
Okay.
So what happens is that breathe out through the mask. Like as if you're slowly snoring about it. Just watch me what I'm doing here.
Okay. So you're
So
breathing
I'm
out through
creating
your
a
nose.
resistance.
Okay.
It is something like
Okay.
whenever you create a resistance at all level, you develop the muscles to hold it better. So
Right.
second that you have to
Right.
create a resistance, and if you have a choking level of throat, we call the sleep apnea evaluation. You have to use
Yeah.
CPAP and all those
Yeah.
things. CPAP is also a splint device which allows the passage to open. So use a resistive device.
Okay.
There's a second. Third
Okay.
thing is that you have to, three basic things which you have to follow is that observe your breath.
Observe, that means you should feel your breath. every
Because you have to
breath.
stay in that moment. You have to go into the
Yes.
deeper. So how can you
Yeah.
observe the breath? Very
Yeah.
simple technique.
Yeah.
Sit straight. The posture is the
Right.
most important.
Right.
If you slouch, you
Okay.
breathe less. Sit straight.
Sit
Watch
straight.
me. Sit
Okay.
straight. Your spine straight. Whether you're sitting or standing doesn't matter.
Okay.
Then you focus your third eye. Because third eye
So
is
right
the one.
here?
Third eye is your what you call the
Yeah.
Trambhakan third eye. That is the
Okay.
area which connects your suprachiasmatic ear.
Okay.
That is the area which gives you the holistic harmony.
Okay.
Half close your eyes.
So
Identify a word which is very dear to you, maybe
Yeah.
your parents, your spiritual, say anything which you like, say for example, Om, you can
Okay.
feel it here. Don't
Right.
do any kind of chanting. Just let the thoughts come. The
Okay.
most important part of breath meditation or pranayam is that you're not supposed to stop the thoughts.
Okay.
Let it come.
Let it
Let it
come.
come, it will go back. So let it come, let it go back. So feel the word here,
The word.
and simultaneously the breath at the level of the nose. When you
Okay.
breathe in is cool, when you breathe out is warm. It's called thermostatic effect.
Right.
This is called
Right.
anapanasati, and this technique was practiced by Gautam Buddha to reach his bodhisattva.
Anapanasati. That
This
is
is called
the
anapanasati.
key essence of Jainism, isn't
It's
it?
an AK effect of Jainism,
Yeah.
Buddhism, basic Patanjali.
Yes.
If we talk about it,
Right.
observe the
So
breath.
anapana and sati.
Ana
Yeah.
is breathing in,
Breathing
Pana is
in,
his Pali
breathing out.
language, Ana and Pana. Just observe you.
Yeah.
Just one simple thing. Once you have done the cleansing, once you have followed, have cleaned your mind, when you're very rational, deleted, and very, just observe your
Observe
breath.
your breath.
Just watch me.
Yeah.
Enjoy the breath. So when you watch your breath, your mind goes there. It is there. The breath is your mind. You're there. You stay
Right,
there.
right,
It's
right.
there. It's your time. It's be momentous. Then you have to feel the breath. And when we breathe in, the belly goes up.
Yeah,
When we breathe
yeah.
out, the belly goes in.
Good.
So feel the movements. So
In
observe,
fact-
feel. And the third thing is that breathe out more, breathe in less. Like
Yeah,
for example,
yeah.
exhalation is more important.
Right.
Like it's like emptying glass. If you
Yeah.
empty a glass, you can fill the glass more.
Right.
So if you exhale 4, breathe in 2, exhale 6, breathe in 3. So exhale more. So very simple technique is that, watch me what I do. After I do anapanasati, just feel it. Take a deep breath.
Okay.
Hold.
Okay.
First is breathe in, watch it, feel it, hold it. Then slowly hold as much as you can. Keep holding it, holding it, holding it, holding it. Then you make a little pout here. This is called purse lip. Again you breathe in. Observe and feel it. Feel tranquil. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Then you pout your lip. So breathe out more, breathing less. This is very simple technique. This is how you are bringing your respiratory system connected to your mind. You are developing already pranayam, the mind and body. Then you have to go for a power. So what Shushmita was asking me, what is your power breathing? Power breathing is only possible when you have learned to control your mind,
Okay.
when you learn to delete things,
Right.
when you have followed the
Right.
observe, feel and
Right.
exhalation techniques,
Right.
then you're now, this is your basic course. Once you have qualified your basic course over the
Okay,
year, then
okay.
only you have to go for the power.
Power.
Power is the diaphragm,
Okay.
the power of the diaphragm.
Okay,
You
so
see,
you're
watch me.
saying-
You see,
Yes.
this is the power. The
Okay.
power gives you the slinky effect.
Okay.
So two important power breaths which we talk about it. One is the diaphragmatic contraction, what we call Kapalbhati or diaphragmatic. Watch me. Most of the people, do
That is
Kapalbhati
quick
wrong.
breathing, isn't it?
It's quick.
Exhaling.
Squeezing. It is something like slinky.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
what I'm doing.
Huh.
I'm squeezing the lung. Watch me.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I'm squeezing the lungs. When I squeeze
Okay.
out, I take in more.
Right,
The second is
right.
that this is called the bellow breathing. Man, what is that thing? The lung is a bellow. Like
And
you're-
Doc, if I rightly remember, that also helps you in reducing weight. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's why you find
Yeah.
all the yogic practitioners, they're lean.
They're lean,
They're
yes.
lean. They
Yeah.
don't have much of bellies. So
Yeah.
second is Bhastrika. Bhastrika is basically a bellow breathing. You must
Okay.
have seen in the villages, the people used to push those bellows to
Yeah, yeah,
for combustion. So
Combustion.
bellow is something like Bhastrika.
Okay. Okay.
This is another power. And the
All
third, the
right.
most important, what she was, our fellowship is a Botako.
Yeah,
Botako is a
Botako.
technique. How can you hold your breath as long as possible?
Okay.
Botako is a technique. You bring down your respirator to 3/4. You like a tortoise.
Okay.
So then the technique is that you have to breathe and you have to eat the breath also. These are two
Okay.
techniques. So
Okay.
I'm breathing, I'm eating. So what happens when you have seen the tortoise, he uses belly. So
Yeah.
he's breathing and eating the breath. So you have to learn to eat the breath. So it is something, when I hold it as much as possible. So you have to start with short breath.
But Doc, how does it help then?
What happens Once you reduce the number of breaths,
Okay.
you conserve the energy.
All right.
You
yes.
increase your longevity.
You talk
because
longevity that
you
you
increase
talked
your
about.
longevity.
Yes.
You release good hormones.
And
you
you
detoxify
shine.
your body. You get those shining
Shine
breath.
on
That's
your
why Kapalbhati
face.
is also
Yes.
called skull shining. So you get that
Absolutely.
radiance, the positive, the
Yeah.
energy, the youthfulness,
Yeah.
and you go back in times. You become much more
And
energetic.
there is a serenity on your face. It
Absolutely.
glows with power.
And if you follow this breath meditation in a sequential order by clearing all the thoughts and going
Yeah.
into a power breathing, the biggest advantage what you get is that it enhances your memory power, enhances your sleep quality.
Absolutely.
It makes you less anxious. You become compassionate. And the most important thing is that you feel joyous and you're not
Alright.
scared of anything. You have nothing to lose.
Wonderful. What a wonderful thought. So, Doc, how do we practice this every day? And not only us, our parents, our little children, how do we train them to breathe like this?
You know, very simple thing is that you don't have to go into all those power breathings.
Okay.
The three things is that just follow the basic rules that we have to be cool and composed.
Right.
When you're organized, when you're very
Yeah.
disciplined in
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
already your 4Ds are followed. The people who are unplanned, when you with it, those who have poor time management, they are the people have very poor stress management. Organize yourself. Delete if you want to really delete things, you have to organize your mind, organize your day, plan things. And accordingly you have to. So planning is very important. That happens at a higher level. So you should be a good planner. You should be disciplined. Regular exercise.
Regular exercise.
Physical,
so this
because-
is one message, strong message from
Because
Embrace
if you are
Zindegi.
not doing a regular physical exercise, what will happen?
Yes.
Your harmony, the
Yeah.
holistic harmony will not come.
It'll
The good
snap.
hormones, what you call
Right.
the endorphin, the dopamine,
Right.
the serotonin and oxytocin
Serotonin,
will be not be released. So regular exercises.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, then these
There
are
is
two
no
important things.
excuse for exercises.
So
in
you have to
fact.
do
You
exercises
have to take out time.
and you have to be mindful. What happens? What breath gives you? What breath meditation? It makes you mindful at everything. You become a
Okay.
mindful eater.
Yeah.
You becomes
Yes,
mindful in
right.
your work.
Right.
You becomes mindful in your relations.
So
You
that
becomes mindful in your community. It becomes mindful to yourself. So first thing you develop compassion for yourself. When you're
Wonderful.
compassion to yourself, you become compassionate to others.
Absolutely. What a wonderful message on International Yoga Day. And namaskar to all of you. Keep healthy, and we wish you your well-being and for our entire family and our entire nation. Thanks to World Yoga Day.
Thank you, everybody. Just three messages is that learn to observe your breath, feel breath, exhale more, inhale less, and be a better breather and live longer.
And
Thank
be
you.
a good citizen. Namaskar.